Evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Catawba Football Coaches Show. I'm Ken Anderson, joined again by head coach Tyler Haines. And again, before we get underway, we want to thank our staff here at City Tavern for doing a great job taking care of everyone in attendance tonight. Great food, great drinks, and a good time. We also want to thank Novon Health. They're proud to support Catawba Athletics. Novon Health offers same-day and walk-in appointments for injuries at select orthopedic clinics. You can learn more at novonhealth.org/ortho now. And Coach, go ahead and get your shout-outs in.
Yeah. Thank you to President Nelson and family. Thank you to Vice President for Athletics, Michelle Cadigan, the entire athletics department. Thank you to the D's family and the entire development office. Thank you to the Graham family. Thank you to the 1851 Champions Collective. Thank you to Novant Health, as you mentioned, for sponsoring this show and athletics. Shout out to Marty and Amanda Brenneman back there in the back for coming all the way down from Cincinnati, Ohio. Come see us. Shout out to Nick Brown and the SAC champion women's soccer team. Big one there. Most importantly, thank you everyone else in attendance. Thank you everyone watching online. Looking forward to Senior Day in Schufert Stadium.
Yeah, Senior Day, Hall of Fame weekend, so a big time on the Catawba campus this weekend coming up. Coach, let's look back at tough road loss this past Saturday at Carson Newman. Hard-fought football game, and you're of the mind you want to win football games, and if you want to win football games, you have to score touchdowns. That ended up being the difference in the ball game. Your team was in the red zone 5 times, but settled for 3 field goals, just 1 touchdown. Carson Newman in there 3 times. So they got 2 touchdowns. Ultimately, that was the difference in the ball game.
Yeah. Been fortunate enough to be in some playoff games as a coach and as a player throughout my time, and that felt like a playoff game. That's a really good football team we faced. We needed to be on our A game. Our guys played hard throughout the entire game. That was the first time where we really struggled in the red zone, and credit to them. And a little bit falls on us too. We made some mistakes, uncharacteristic mistakes in the red zone. Shout out to Bryson for making those field goals. But yeah, you're not going to go down there 5 times, score 1 touchdown, and win the football game. We out-yarded them, but that's not what wins the football game. What wins is putting points up and holding them down.
Yeah, slight edge in total yards. Time of possession was pretty even. Turnover battle, you always thought you want to come out on top there. You ended up with a late interception being behind there 2-1 on turnovers. But everything was great. But one of the hidden things in that game, it ended up being field position in the game. And their punter might have been the MVP. He had 2 punts over 50 yards, and all 3 of his punts pinned you inside the 20. Yeah. So field position ultimately was a challenge for your team in that game.
Yeah, he did a good job. I think one of those punts we should have fielded that fell on our returner that he wasn't aggressive to go up there and fair catch. He let it bounce, which you don't want to do. They had one that was literally on their sideline that hit an inch away from the sideline and rolled 35 yards. So that one, we have to find a way to overcome that. We did have long fields throughout the day. Yeah, there's no weakness to Carson Newman. You got to go out there and beat them. I didn't like our kickoff coverage either. They had some shorter fields with our kickoff coverage. So, you said 2-1 in the turnover battle. They beat us on special teams too.
Yeah, you mentioned that. They had some short fields after they pinned you deep on the opening kickoff. They only had to go 47 yards for their first field goal to start the game. And then looked like you had some momentum. You had a strip sack from Braylon Baker and recovered the fumble. Then you turned it right back over, and Carson Newman only had to go 43 yards. So they were able to take advantage of those short fields.
Yeah, big turning point. We get the turnover. They don't turn the ball over much at all. Neither team has in the last games. We got the one great play by our defense to get us the ball. It was a 3rd and short. Our running back was getting the first down, had a big run, and it wasn't like he had bad ball security. Their defender literally full speed ahead, put his helmet right on the football, and it was a good play by them more than a bad play by us. But obviously you can't do that. You got to take care of the football. You got to find a way to hold on to it to keep the drive going, and good play by them.
But how about the fight in your team? You're down 24-9 with 6 minutes to go. You need to score and score fast. You did that going 77 yards in 7 plays. Only took 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And Preston Brown connected with Nick Venezia for the touchdown pass. That was a pretty good pass play there.
Yeah, it was. The game was interesting. The way they were playing us, they were giving us what we call light boxes, which was they were begging us to run. We've been banged up in the running back room a little bit. We have a really good offensive line. It was not our offensive line's best performance by any stretch. So the reason we started throwing the ball like that is because we had to. We were trying to run the football, and it wasn't as effective as it needed to be. But, yeah, I'm proud of our guys. We want to win. That was a playoff game. I don't care what anybody says. There was 2 good football teams out there. Our guys kept fighting. They never had any doubt they were going to win that game until the very end, until the time clicked off 100%. Proud of them. We needed to start faster. We needed to score touchdowns in the red zone.
Then you managed that clock rate. You had all 3 timeouts, so you kicked off to them, used all your timeouts. They faced 4th and 1, and Jalen Hinton made the big stop to get your team the ball back. And then you got all the way inside the 20-yard line thanks to converting a 4th and 20 on a pass from Preston Brown to Nick Venezia again with another big catch. But then you interception at the end, and kind of happened on first down with a minute to go. Preston would probably like to have that throw back and maybe give your team a few more shots there.
Yeah, he's thrown 3 picks in, 200 attempts, and that was a bad one. It was a good defensive play. He feels terrible about it. We feel terrible about it for him. It was a mistake. It was one of the few mistakes he made the entire game, but it was a big one. And again, what are you going to do except learn, grow? Preston has another year. We're fighting for him to get another year. So he's got 2 more big games, obviously, this year without looking too far ahead to make things right. But proud of Preston. Not going to hold that one over him. But, yeah, we needed him to find a way to get in the end zone there at the end.
And having that experienced team, I'm sure you're not worried about their attitude and how they're going to bounce back this week.
No. The culture of this team is good. It's solid. We have 22 seniors, really 2 groups of seniors. One, I think we have 9 guys that were a part of the original team when we got here. 9 guys that bought into what we were saying, stuck it out. That was a 1-10 team getting beat up on by everybody and has been through this entire thing. And you have another group of about 13 guys that have bought into what the future looks like, and we recruited them. They're all one group now, but that senior leadership will never let us falter. They're always going to keep us going in the right direction. I'm proud of them.
All right, so let's talk to some of your key players from last week's game, guys that we awarded players of the game to on the radio for their performance. Defensive end Braylon Baker and wide receiver Nick Venezia. So let's get them up here to talk about their performance in this past week's game. Of course, most of you are familiar with Braylon Baker. He's been on the show once before. He's a local guy from just down the road in Harrisburg, North Carolina. Played his high school football at J.M. Robinson High School. But Nick Venezia, he's traveled all the way here from Jensen Beach, Florida, to join the Catawba team. We got you on there now, so you'll be good. So, Nick, let's start with you with that offensive performance you had Saturday. 5 catches for 92 yards. You more than doubled your season output in catches. Caught your first TD of the season. That was a 15-yard pass when you needed to score there late in the ball game. How did that play transpire that got you in the end zone?
Well, really, it was a corner route. I just got on the ball. I could tell it was man coverage. And honestly, I feel like we have one of the best quarterbacks in the whole country. So he believed in me. I believed in him. And he just made a good throw, good catch. Yeah, I don't know. It's a dream come true, to be honest with you. It was my first touchdown in college, and I'm just super, super grateful. It's crazy because I make that same catch after practice. I practice that same catch every single day. And I think God just blessed me with the opportunity to make it happen, and I'm just overall super, super grateful.
So talking about having trust in you, comes down to a 4th and 20 play. You have to convert to keep the drive alive, and Preston Brown finds you again, this time on the far sideline. What was it like on that play? How did you get open on 4th and 20?
Well, I literally could not hear the play until it was so loud there. It was crazy. It was a great atmosphere. I could not hear the play until right before the ball was snapped. I heard it, turned around right then and there, and Preston just threw the ball up, and it just landed in my arms again. Again, super grateful. I think it's God in the end, and yeah, he made the play for real.
I have to ask you, did those Carson Newman defensive backs, did they take some liberations with the rules? I saw them tugging a little bit, pushing you a little bit, bumping you.
Yes,
they were tough to play against, weren't they?
Yes, they were tough to play against. I think if I could have played the whole game, or if we could have had a little bit more time, I think the scoreboard would have been different. But there are some great players. But again, I like us versus them. If we do it again, I like us versus them.
So Nick, how did you end up coming to Catawba College from Jensen Beach, Florida?
So I actually went to IMG my senior year of high school, and there my defensive coordinator was Bryce Super, our cornerbacks coach here. And I ended up hitting the portal this year after being at FAU for a year and a half. And immediately when I got in there, Coach Super called me and was like, hey, we have a spot for you here. These coaches really like your film, and we like what you can do here and whatever. And I just... I was just super blessed. I don't know. I think coming here and be able to be on this team with this coaching staff and all of them, it's just been, I don't know, super. I don't know. All the things just went together. I don't know what the words are, but everything just fell into place. Okay. And And yeah, I don't know. It all just worked out.
Okay, so now that you're here, what are you majoring in, and what are your future plans?
I'm majoring in sports management, and my future plans are to win a SAC championship next year. That is my future plan.
Okay, don't look too far ahead, right? Take it one step at a time.
Win these next 2 games. Beat Anderson. That's what it is.
Okay, Braylon, let's talk about your big game on Saturday. You were in on 14 tackles in that ball game, 2 solo and 12 assists. You also had that big sack where you forced the fumble that Ricky Jones recovered that got your team the ball. Unfortunately, it didn't turn into anything after you turned it back over. You had 2 tackles for loss that totaled 15 yards. You were really getting after it against Carson Newman, but did their running attack lead to you making many of those plays?
I would just say the first thing that just allowed me to make those plays is our coaching staff. Coach O had a great plan. Coach O coaches up for the 3 weeks that we had to Tusculum and Carson Newman. They ran the same thing. So we got very coached. We out-coached them, I would say that. And I just played with some confidence. And I just went out there and made plays.
So on the season, 35 tackles, 5 of those for loss, and 2 sacks. You're having quite a season. But in that game against Carson Newman, what was your key? Because they run that option play. You got the dive. You got the quarterback coming around the end. You got a pitch man out there. What were your responsibilities against that option?
I would say I just read the tackles. Me and Coach Hub talked about it the whole week. You squeeze, square, hit what you see, and they just ran the ball to me a lot. So I just kept squeezing, squaring, hitting everything I see.
Now you've got a group of guys on the team, all on that defensive line from J.M. Robinson High School. Isaiah Herrera at defensive end, Danaz White, the big nose tackle. You guys were all on the same team at J.M. Robinson?
Yes, sir.
So you had to be pretty successful. I'm looking at your numbers from your high school career. 153 tackles as a senior, 9.5 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. That's a career for some people. You did that in 1 year. What was it like to transition here to Catawba with those guys?
It was an easy transition. Of course, me and Isaiah, we got recruited together, so that was the plan. We was like, we're going to come here together. And as soon as Debo hit the portal, it was like, you need a home. We was like, come on, man, we can get you over here. And now we just having a great year. I love playing with my guys. I love playing with my Raw boys.
And there are some other guys on the roster from Cabarrus County, Nick Wilds-Lawing, Dallas Ford, Colin Reese, Kyle Perry. Were you friends with any of those guys ahead of time?
The first 4, they're a little old, so I ain't get a chance to catch them. They're old. But me and KP went to school for 2 years when we were at Hickory Ridge. That's my dog. Shout out to KP.
All right, so congratulations on your big games this week. Looking for more big things this week against the Anderson Trojans. And thanks for joining us here on the Coaches Show.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate it.
You.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Great to have you. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk some spring sports. Weather's getting a little colder, so you're probably not thinking baseball or softball, but we're going to switch and go that direction now. We're going to start with softball first. And joining me up here is Catawba softball player Grace Flynn and her coach, Allie Lyerly. So thanks for joining us tonight on the Coaches Show. And Allie, let's start with you. You're a Catawba Hall of Fame member. This is Hall of Fame weekend. You got inducted last year along with your husband. So that had to be a pretty special weekend, getting inducted the same year as your husband.
It was. It was super special, and just an exciting weekend for us to celebrate with our family members. And it was a good time. I'm excited for the ones that are getting inducted this year as well.
Now, you've had a pretty good softball team the last 3 years, I believe. Some good records and scoring a lot of runs, and really exciting to watch. You had some big years last year out of Bree Gallagher and Carrie Hales. What are you looking for in this coming season? You'll have Bree back, but you won't have Carrie.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Carrie was an amazing ball player, and she's going to be tough to replace. She'll never be able to be replaced, honestly. But we have some great kids on our team, like this one right here, Grace, and a few in the back of the room right here as well. And we're going to be a great team. We're a good family, and that's kind of what we're standing for this year. And I'm super excited to see what happens in the spring. I think we're going to be a good team.
Now, I understand here in the fall you got to go against some Division I competition, played UNCG and Charlotte. What was that like to help you get prepared for the 2026 season?
I think it was great for our girls. I think it was super exciting for them to go to those facilities and play at that level of competition. I think we proved ourselves very well in those games. We hit the crap out of the ball. I mean, we just hit really, really good. Our pitchers did well as well. So I'm excited to see what happens in the spring. I think this good things are coming for sure. So
your team has shown you can hit the ball and score some runs, but how about pitching? Who are you going to have on the pitching staff? How's that line up for next year?
So we have our senior coming back, Alex Backey, who was hurt last year and kind of worked through that. We have a girl that was a freshman last year, Kate Holland, who is a sophomore now, and you can tell she worked really hard this summer to get better and improve. Have several freshmen that have come in that I think are going to be tough. They spin the ball well. They're different pitchers. They're not all the same. So I think that's going to really help us as well.
And we know a lot of the position players, including Grace Flynn, Savannah Balderston, Molly Strider. Is there anybody that's going to take a big step that might surprise people if they come out to watch some softball this spring that's really going to take a big jump?
I mean, all of our girls are tough, which is super exciting. We have a freshman. I think she's going to surprise a lot of people. Her name's Dakota Wilkins. I think she's going to be a big key player for us. We have Maddie Altiers, who is coming back from last year. She was a transfer last year, catcher behind the plate. I think she's going to help us a lot. Rachel Presley's in here as well, and she's a catcher and plays outfield a little bit. She's a little injured right now, but I think she's going to be strong for us. I think we're going to have a really good group of girls, and I'm super excited. I'm excited about Grace leading us as well, being a junior this year. She's always been big at the top of our lineup, and I'm excited to see what she can do.
All right, so Grace, let's talk to you now. You came here from Kernersville, North Carolina, played softball at East Forsyth High School. Why Catawba? Why did you come to play softball at Catawba?
So I feel like the minute I heard of Catawba, I immediately came on campus and I really learned about the Catawba culture. And everybody just was a community. I felt the support of everybody that I came in contact with, and I immediately knew that this is where I wanted to go. It was such a family-oriented place, and I knew this is exactly where I wanted to be.
Now, when you came to Catawba, you started quite a few games as a freshman, breaking into a pretty veteran lineup. How did they treat you? Did they accept you right away because of your softball abilities and your personality, or was it a little tough being a newcomer with a group of veterans?
I feel like definitely as a freshman on the field, playing with a bunch of older people, you definitely feel the pressure. But when you're working with veterans like that, they push you and you want to be better. And every single day is a competition, and they make you a better player. So I feel like it was definitely a good opportunity for me.
And what was the biggest adjustment for you coming from high school to play college softball? What was the biggest challenge for you?
I feel like the level of play is definitely a lot faster, and I learned that very early on. But coming from high school to college, it's definitely faster. The pitches are faster, and you have to really make adjustments fast as well.
And then your freshman season, you batted .314, drove in 10 runs. This past season, .359 average, up to 7 home runs and 23 RBIs. What was the key to that level of success this past season?
I feel like we're definitely fortunate to work with strength and agility coaches that I got stronger over time. And when I was able to work with coaches, we were able to tweak little things in my swing that made a big difference. And I also think going from freshman year to sophomore year, I was able to settle down more and focus more in the box that had a big outcome.
So that means we can expect to see even bigger things in this coming season, right?
Yes, sir. That's what we're hoping for.
Okay, and then at Catawba, what are you majoring in and what are your future plans?
I'm studying business administration with a concentration in marketing, and I'm wanting to go into the marketing world.
Okay, that should be fun. Wish you best of luck in that adventure and best of luck in this coming softball season. And also you, Coach, best of luck to your team, and hopefully you have a great season.
Thank you very much.
And now we'll get your counterparts from the baseball diamond up
Sounds
here
good.
next.
Thank you.
Allie, Lyerly, and Grace Flynn joining us this week on the Coaches Show. And now we're going to be joined by legendary coach Jim Gantt and one of his key players for this coming season, pitcher Casey Googe. Casey's a left-hander out of West Rowan High School. And Casey, I'm going to start with you. Left-hander coming out of West Rowan High School, big expectations. Got roughed up a little bit in that first season as a freshman. It was a big adjustment coming from high school to face those college hitters, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It's definitely a different level when you get to the college level. So being able to settle in is something that's not easy for a lot of pitchers, a lot of hitters as well. But, yeah, definitely a different level.
And then the second year, you had a 5-2 record. ERA was down to 4.83. You really caught on. Things started to click for you the second half of that sophomore season. Then you had a big game at the College World Series pitching. What was the difference there? What allowed you to hit your stride?
I think part of it was health and being a little bit stronger. I think my first year I was about 170 pounds, and my second year I was about 205, 210 pounds. So definitely was a lot healthier. And then that back half of the season just started playing with a lot more confidence and playing for the guys around me, and it was able to all kind of fall into place.
Then this past year, 7-2, ERA down to 3.55. You started 14 ball games. Things just happened well for you. Everything just seemed to to go well, and that's just as a result of the effort you put in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of it is experience. I mean, those first 2 years when you play at the highest level in Division II sports, like, it's going to be easier to come back in that third year and be a little bit more successful. So I think that was part of it. And the other part of it was, again, just going back to the goal of what we're trying to achieve and playing for that as opposed to playing for myself.
I often tell people when I'm watching you pitch a game, there's almost no difference. If I watch a film of Max Fried when he pitched for the Braves and now the Yankees and watch you pitch, it's almost the same motion. Did you get modeled after him, or did your pitching coach work with you to work on that type of delivery?
I mean, it's a big comparison, but no, not really. I don't think there was anyone that I really wanted to model my craft after. It was just more watching those pro guys and kind of taking things from each one and kind of putting it into how I can use it.
And as a result of that great season, you made third team All-South Atlantic Conference. You were academic All-District, so that leads into what are you majoring in and what do you hope to do in the future?
So I'm majoring in sport management. I still trying to figure out what I want to do when I'm done. I've thought about, I know I want to fly. My brother's a pilot, so I definitely have an interest in that. But majoring in sport management, but the goal right now is focused on spring, focused on winning a national championship.
All right, you came up just one game short last year from getting back to the World Series, so hopefully everything works out for you and the team this spring. So, Coach, let's talk about your team coming back. You're going to be strong up the middle again. You got the middle of the lineup defensively, Sam Hunter in the outfield, Nathan Crispin and Ty Hubbard, middle of the infield, Matthew Conley behind the plate. You got Hunter Atkins to throw in there, Parker Staborski, Sean Shelley, quite a good lineup. But you lost some pitching. Austin Fine, Payne Stolesworth, Brandon Rogers, they're going to be tough to replace. Hayden Simerson transferred out, but what's the pitching prospects other than this guy look like for you next year?
Well, we need Casey to make the progressions that he has from his freshman year to sophomore to junior. We need that, but we don't want that pressure on him either. He just needs to go out and do what he does. One thing he failed to mention, that practice has really helped his game because he's put a lot of time into it, and it's amazing how when you prepare and you practice how you get better. But our pitching, we got a couple guys from Limestone that transferred in that could very well be 2 of our 3 starters on the weekend. Colt Wilkins is one of them. He was good when we played against him, and then in the conference tournament they were at our park, and he shut out Coker. But once he started throwing for us in inter-squad games, I was really surprised at the amount of velocity that the guy has, and we could have an upgrade there with that guy.
You mentioned the inter-squad games. You have a World Series going on right now. You split the squad in 2, playing the World Series. What's that like with those guys competing against each other? Does it make you a little nervous?
No, it's fun to watch. The bad thing is if we compare our last 2 scrimmages and some of the stuff that we've seen, I don't know if we're going to win many games this year. It's been hard to watch. So I don't know, maybe they can whip each other into shape because we got a ways to go. It's a work in progress. But we're doing a little bit of a different World Series this year where there's a point system that's trying to develop some of the stuff that we do offensively, defensively, and pitching. And that way they have to play the game more than just scoring runs and bragging rights. So the ultimate winner will be at the end of Game 3. And it's a point system. And Jeremy Simpson, our assistant coach, he keeps up with all those points. And he's the smartest guy of the coaching staff, so we let him do that. But it's a different format, but it's fun to watch them because they have to play the game.
Now, you mentioned that you enjoy coaching in the fall and getting ready for the season as much as you do coaching during the season. So how have things gone with this team so far through the fall?
Yeah, playing games in the spring is definitely fun because it's fun to compete against someone else. But as you mentioned, the development part of it happens in the fall, and that's what's fun for me. You get to spend time with the guys, and you concentrate on us and not worry about your opponent so much. But it's going well. The guys, if you go to the weight room, you can't tell from rep 1 to the last rep. You can't tell from the first rep in practice to the last rep the difference in the intensity or the effort. So we practice really well. We just got to be able to transfer that over to the game.
And let's talk one of the things that the fans are excited about, finally getting ready to move ahead on phase 2 of the Newman Park renovations with the grandstands, going to be called the Gantt stands, I understand. And everybody's looking forward to that. So tell us a little bit about how that's going to progress.
Yeah, that's pretty humbling deal right there. I thought they'd name a toilet after me or something like that instead of the grandstands. But it's exciting. There's a lot of people that have done things with that. And if I start naming names, I'm going to leave someone out. But there's a whole bunch of people that's involved with that. And it's really exciting. It's going to be fun for the community so that we can play in it and then carry it over into the summer. And a lot of people are going to want to participate and play in that park. It's going to be nice. It's going to be something.
Okay, so we're going to wish you the best of luck and hope things work out that we get you back to the World Series this spring.
Now, that'd be nice.
All right, thanks for joining us on the Coaches Show. And we got to get Coach Haines back up here to talk about the upcoming game. But thanks to Coach Gantt and Casey Gooch for joining us here on the Coaches Show this week. Now we're going to get Coach Haines back up here to talk about the big matchup Saturday night, 6 p.m. at Schuford Stadium against Anderson. It's senior day. It's Hall of Fame weekend, so plenty of excitement on campus for this weekend. And Coach, going to be a good football game. This Anderson team is pretty tough. They took Newberry to the wire last week. Newberry got a field goal in the final seconds to win that game 24-21. They're coached by Bobby Lamb, who's been successful as a player and a coach at Furman. This team's going to be ready to play.
Yeah, they are. They ironically, their bye is week 11, so this is their last game. Coach Lamb's been around for a long time, and I mean that in a good way. He's won everywhere he's been. He's got a really good football team. This is technically year 2 for Anderson, and they're all back, and they're all a year older. They're a very good football team. You know, they beat LR. They played Newberry close. Yeah, it's gonna be a war in Schuford.
And you mentioned they're all a little older. You look at their roster, you see redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, but those redshirt sophomores were there a whole year ahead of time practicing and getting ready. So they look on paper like a young team, but they've got some older players and they're ready to go.
Oh yeah, they those early years didn't count. So they're older than advertised, and they're a really good football team. We saw them last year. You know, they played. That was during the hurricane thing. They came up to us on Sunday, and it was an overtime game. So we respect this team, and we're going to have to play our best.
Now, looking at their statistics, their top quarterback and their top rusher were both injured recently, so they didn't see action this week. Wilson Edwards took over at quarterback, J.B. Say at running back, but they're more than capable players as well, and it looks like we're facing maybe another dual-threat quarterback again.
Yeah, they're just like everybody else. They've been beat up going through this conference gauntlet. I think their quarterback will play against us, their starter number 7, who we saw last year. I know he's at least dressing. I would be shocked if he didn't play this week. I think their running back is out. I think it was season ending. But just like anybody, they have their backup quarter's very good. It started the last 2 games. They have multiple running backs. Coach Lamb's an offensive guy. He calls the plays. They always put good scheme together. So, yeah, there's not much drop-off between 1 and 2 at a couple of those positions.
So what do you think will be the biggest challenge for your defense against their offense?
Coach Lamb does a good job, again, scheme-wise, what you've done in the past to try to beat you. So every week their offense looks different. You know, they don't have – this is going to sound bad. They don't have a system where they run the same stuff all the time and minor tweaks. He overhauls the entire offense to try to beat your defense. So Coach Overman and the defensive staff and the players, they know that. So they're going to see things they have not seen on film all year. So it's really about calling good scheme that's good versus everything. And we're an aggressive defense. We're going to let Evan Simons, Braylon Baker, these guys go get after the quarterback, when in doubt, attack.
And what will be the biggest challenge for your offense against their defense?
Do what we do. Last week we talked about, the red zone inefficiencies. We've got to get back to scoring touchdowns. We are who we are. We're going to try to run the football. We're going to trust Preston to get the ball out to Nick and Bo and all our guys on the edges. We need to play well. That's bottom line.
And speaking of getting the ball out, Bo Pryor became the all-time career leading receiver in receptions with 2 catches for 60 yards this past week. And so now I know why you were trying to get the ball to him all those times in the homecoming game to try to maybe get him the record at home. But I imagine he's pretty psyched up for what will be his final home game.
Yeah, we try to get him the ball because he's a good player. We try to give, he went out against Carson Newman as well. He had 2 touchdowns. I'll speak for Bo. He's coming off an ACL. He's still not 100% from his knee, and he's battling a hamstring on the other leg. He is a tough kid. He loves Catawba. He's going out there and playing just by sheer guts and will, and you'll see him out there Saturday, and hopefully he can play a lot because that's what he wants and that's what he deserves.
So trying to go for an undefeated season at home, and if you can do that every year, if you go undefeated at home and win a few road games in there, you're going to have a great season every year.
Yeah, like Coach Gantt said, that'd be nice. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay, so we're going to get ready to close it out. We're running out of time here on this week's edition of the Coaches Show. We'll have one final Coaches Show for the season next week before the matchup against Lenore Ryan. And I think our cheerleaders are going to come up today and help you out to get everybody fired up and with your usual takeout here. So the cheerleaders are going to help you out. Go ahead and close it out in your usual fashion, Coach.
Yep. 22 seniors. This one's for those guys going on number 7. Cat U on 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right, cheerleaders, go ahead and cheer us out of here. Thanks for joining us again on the Coaches Show this week. We'll see you back here next week before we take on Lenore Ryan.